Welcome back, welcome back. We're celebrating Z Jamaica's 21st anniversary, and now we're turning into an interesting topic. Mr. Brooks seems quite
I am
interested in this
interested.
topic,
Coding and robotics. Yes, man.
Earlier in the show, we mentioned that Zed will be hosting a robotics summer camp this year. And to discuss further, we are now going to be joined by co-founder and CEO of Zebra Robotics, Satish, and forgive me for this name, Thea Garajaran, and co-founder and chief business officer of Zebra Robotics, Jayendra Balasubramanian, as well as the director of Mars Business Solutions, Rashid Mohammed, who will be handling our discussion regarding the logistics of the summer camp. And still in studio with us is the managing director of Z Jamaica, Carlton Grant. So, good afternoon. Good evening, rather, I should say.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. How are you?
Doing well.
So, before we get to you, gentlemen, I have to bring in Carlton Grant. Explain to us this correlation in terms of robotics and Z Jamaica.
Well, we're in the business of education, so I think robotics just comes natural in terms of the attraction to students in Jamaica and how well we have done in the last couple of years. So this was brought to our attention by Rashid and a good friend of mine in Toronto, Mark and Olga, who is the actual founder of a local entity here in Jamaica called Island Fortune, which is an investment arm, which is the investment arm that actually is taking care of most of the resources that we'll have coming into Jamaica in the next couple of months. So because we're in education, we felt that this is right up our alley, and we wanted to put something on. Of course, we've done different ideas of stuff. We've done last year. We did the cybersecurity and data protection seminar at the Pegasus. I think a few years ago we did the swim event, the Red Web swim event that was completely filmed by I think it was one of the television stations here in Jamaica. And that was a good event. So this year we just thought that robotics is one of the 6 technological revolution that is going to be that we have to look out for in terms of robotics, AI, and blockchain technology, and a couple others. So we thought that it would be something that we should get involved in, and of course we always want to be ahead of the curve. So we thought that this is a good time for us to look at it. And then when we do these things, we want to do the best job. We don't want to just do something. It's not about trying to increase revenue or anything. It's trying to bring something to Jamaica to have the school sustain this, to transfer the actual knowledge.
To ensure Jamaica doesn't fall behind.
Yeah, and I think so. It was something that we think that we'll do, and we wanted to do. So we're stuck here.
So coming to you, Satish, explain to us what exactly is Zebra Robotics.
Hi. First of all, thanks for having me here. This is fantastic. I'm learning a lot about Z Jamaica and the program and facts from Mark. Robotics, as you know, is everywhere right now, right? I mean, we are talking about AI. We are talking about robots taking the jobs from us. So there is a lot of discussion in the media about robotics, but where we focus on, gentlemen, is to introduce kids to robotics. So there are a couple of advantages. Not only are they going to learn about robotics, but they are also going to experience a different kind of learning. So gone are the days, in my opinion, where a teacher stands in the front and the students are sitting at their desk listening to what is being taught to them from blackboard and whiteboard and whatnot. We want to enable the teachers to say, okay, now get your hands dirty by building a robot, by programming a robot, and trying to apply whatever you learn. So there is a lot of excitement in the class that we want to bring. And invariably, we have seen the classrooms get a lot noisy and a lot of high fives in the class, and it's a different atmosphere. And we want to bring that excitement back to education.
And that's interesting. When you think robotics, you think engineers and MIT and Caltech.
And
You
nerds. Don't forget nerds. Don't forget the nerds.
Well, you don't exactly think about kids in like high school or such just doing these type of experiments. So how exactly do you get that to that level where someone who is going through high school or primary school can understand and be engaged in robotics?
That's a very good question. So everyone gets intimidated by robotics because it's being used by NASA and the big universities that you talked about. But fundamentally, if you kind of take a step back, if you break it down into ABCs that people can understand the basics, that quickly they start constructing words and sentences, just like English, right? So we want to teach the kids at a very early age, even from grade 2, grade 3 onwards, what is a robot, right? I mean, you see many of the machines around us all the time. You go to your grocery store, the door opens automatically when it senses you, so how does it open? When you go to the airport, when you keep your hands under the tap, the water comes automatically. We don't turn the taps anymore in many places. How does that work? Right? So we want to encourage kids to start thinking and questioning what they see and experience around them. And over a period of time, they are going to want to learn more. How do we make this? How do I put these sensors together to do what I wanted to do, right? We teach them how to program them, do simple tasks. And what you have seen is over a period of time, 3 years, 4 years, they start to build some sophisticated robots. I mean, as a robotics lead coach for some of the teams, I find it, wow, these guys have exceeded my knowledge now, right? So give them the power of knowledge and they will show what they can do.
And Jayendra, what encouraged you to partner with Zed in terms of starting this robotic summer camp?
Yeah, so thank you again for having us here. We've been wanting to take both robotics and coding outside of US and Canada, and we were looking at opportunities for us to explore outside. And Mr. Rashid and Zed Jamaica came to us, and we started talking. We felt like there was a good wavelength. I think we all have the same goal of taking education to kids and wanting them to learn and grow from there. And so it turned out to be a great opportunity. We've been enjoying our engagement so far, and we look forward to continuing to have that.
And in terms of, so you talk about taking robotics and coding outside of the US and Canada. Here in Jamaica, we know only select schools have dabbled in robotics. So is the intention to try to broaden that scope and that base of involvement?
That's exactly right. I think that is the goal. I think we want to get there. I think in this summer we're going to pilot it in a few schools. Test it out, test the waters there, and we do feel that we have a really good curriculum, and we have a program. We have a proven model that we have tried here in both Canada and the U.S. And so we feel that we are set up there. And with the framework and the partnership with Jamaica, we feel that we can certainly take that to schools out there.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of training the trainers, my term, how do you go about that to ensure the sustainability? Because it's all well and good that we go to a camp and we have a good time, we build a robot, and I'm hoping to build a robot that can make me stupid. But, that aside. so we build a robot and it does well. But then in terms of the long-term sustainability, how are we training the teachers to ensure that that knowledge base stays?
Yeah, so we have a good training plan, and the goal is for us to make sure we take some key people from the schools, train them, make sure that they have the knowledge of how to engage the kids in the classroom. Right? It's one thing to have a content, and the content we have it on the cloud. But it's another thing to engage with the kids and get the kids motivated, right? And how do you take that through the process? So we do have a pretty good training plan and a system for that. And the goal is to engage with the schools, but have a master trainer out there that can in turn train additional trainers as they come on board.
And Rashid Mohammed, I understand you're the one to talk to in terms of the nitty-gritty of this robotics summer camp.
Yeah, thanks everybody for having me here. And yeah, it started with my idea. So I was talking to Carlton. So, and Carlton, he gave me a very positive response about that. And during his visit, like 6, 7 months back, we started discussing about the robotics and everything. So then he started going and approaching the schools. Then I approached the Zebra Robotics because they are very pioneer here in the North America. So then we partnered with Zebra Robotics and the Z Jamaica. So we all came on the board and started the process of taking robotics to Jamaica and hope we will be success in that. And we'll started with the pilot program. And it's the idea of Carlton to start to go with the pilot program, test the waters, what the schools they need and what not and everything. And the Zebra also, they tailored the program in such a way that during the pilot program also, it should be impressive and it should be success. And we are looking for a long-term relationship over there with the schools and everyone.
Here's an interesting question from our YouTube platform, and I want to ask you this, Carlton, because it's important, because the opportunities sound amazing, yeah? And we have this tendency in Jamaica to say, boy, nothing now, go on. But clearly a lot is happening. Bobby Lee's asking whether children in the West will benefit or only the Kingston children will get these opportunities to go to a camp like this. That's a very good question.
Well, yeah, that's a good question. We're still looking at adding Belmont Academy, and hope Mr. Simpson is here because he's listening in on this, because he spoke to me this morning and asked if and said that you'd be interested in hosting that in the West. So yeah, we're going to. We thought about the number of schools, and because we have over 130 schools in like 14 different Caribbean countries, we tried to figure out, okay, where do we start? We start in Jamaica, and then where's the best place to start? Maybe start in Kingston. See. So the idea is to start where it is red hot, and then use that knowledge and expertise and move out towards the other areas. Just as we start with Campion College, and then we sort of take that expertise and what we've learned for that and transcend that into different areas, and then we move from there, and then we look at non-traditional school, and then we move from there, we look at primary school, and we look at there, we look at prep school, and so on and so forth. So we're going to move this as quick as we can, and if we can get a Western school like any school within St. Elizabeth or Westmoreland areas, or even Montego Bay, I think we would. There's enough time for us to get one or so school more on board.
Yeah.
So,
And Rashid Mohammed, when a child comes to the summer camp, first of all, how do they sign up? Let's start there. Do they sign up through school?
There's a registration online that gives they can just go in. It's in the actual flyers are online that we just go to zjamaica.com.
And so, does their school need to have a robotics program, or just any child who is interested?
Any child who's interested can go anywhere. I think JC's hosting is the premier hoster of this program right now, because and then we have St. Hilda's High in St. Anne's. So there's St. Hilda's. Yeah, St. Hilda's is gung ho on this, and pretty much. I think shout out to the principal there, Mrs. Reed Johnson. She's online somewhere. So St. Hilda was one of the first school who basically signed off on this. They're ready to go. So we have JC St. Hilda's. I think I'm hoping that Hillel would come on. And then we have other schools who express interest, like Wilmers and Arden, and they may be forwarding their student over to JC or to any other the other schools. But we wanted to make sure that we don't overextend ourselves and then
Yes.
and put ourselves in too much of a, because all the equipment and stuff that we have to get that purchase and sources and we have to build those tables that is very expensive and ship them to Jamaica and so we wanted to test the waters first to see
Before expanding.
which
to
is
abroad.
great, yeah.
Yeah.
And do a good project at the same time because we're always one thing I don't compromise on is a good product.
The quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rashid Mohammed, let's talk logistics. What exactly does an interested child or student have to bring in terms of potentially taking part in the summer camp?
Yeah, summer camp, basically the program is designed in such a way that they will be going with the electronics and the robotics, and the coding will be involved in that one. So the students will be taking the electronics with them and the robotics, what they are going to build, the robots, it will be with the schools for them. So they will be learning the electronics and the robotics.
So when they turn up at the camp with just their notebooks or their iPad, what do I need to bring?
Yeah, iPads, they have to bring the laptops and it. So that's it here.
Okay.
So is the criteria, as in the requirements for them to take part, listed along with the information on the website?
Yeah. So just repeat the website again.
zjamaica.com/robotics.
And Rashid Mohammed, and this is where my heart might break because this way you're probably going to tell me that I don't qualify. But I'm assuming that a student who's going to participate in a robotics camp needs to be good at math and science.
Yeah, basically it's
Oh
a
my
STEM-based.
God!
It's a
I was
STEM-based.
afraid you would tell me that.
So let me jump in there to add on to what Rashid is saying.
Yes.
So what we have noticed is sometimes, different kids learn different ways. Some
Right.
of them are experiential learners. They can't understand the concept. So for me, I want to see and do things.
Right.
That's
Tactile.
how I learn better.
Yes.
So a kid that may not have been good in math at school so far can find new way of learning the same math and be good at it now. So we don't need them to know math, or we don't need to have them as a genius science whiz. They just need to come with an open mind and give it a shot, and they may be surprised themselves that they may like math.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So let's talk about time. When exactly do you anticipate that you'll be bringing the summer camp up to speed, and what period of time will it take place over?
And here's an important question to add from Carlene Smith. She's asking what age group the camp targets.
We're targeting anywhere from 11 to 18, but I think it's if you have a 10-year-old and kid is smart and want to come, why waste the talent? It's not. The camp is going to be held in July, from July the 2nd to July the 30th, and it is going to be split up into two segments, I think, and morning and afternoon groups. So, and then the morning group will be split up into two segments, which is doing two different disciplines. And there will be, so the first segment will be 3 hours which is from 9 to 12, and then we're doing from 1 to 4. So there are two separate groups itself. So we're hoping that each school will have at least a minimum of 48. Or double that if that's the case. But we aim to do around 250 student top. So it's limited. We don't want to go over that amount of student in the actual schools.
Is a camp like this expensive?
I was told that the cost is 60,000, and that is in Jamaican,
Right.
And that's for the actual, which is not too much in, and that is for the 4 weeks. We're bringing in all the equipment, so the
Yeah.
kids don't have to come with equipment; they just come themselves, and
Right.
we get to take away a project that we that they would have to assemble, and then there's going to be exams and tests along.
So
the,
if I come to the camp and I build, let's call it the nationwide 3,000 ace reporter robot to take Siobhan's job,
yes,
I get to keep the robot.
yes, and you get to keep Siobhan too.
Well, I don't know, Bugs. If it would be like a nationwide ace reporter, we don't even keep Siobhan.
Why wouldn't they sure need to keep you
We
here?
get set up Siobhan. Well, that's interesting. So they get to keep the robot, the product.
Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe Satish can elaborate on that some more.
Yeah. Satish?
Yep. So I think, as Carlton was saying, each group of kids are going to do two types of discipline, right? So let's take the morning group, for example. If they are going to be there from 9 to 12 p.m., 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., the first 90 minutes, they are going to be doing robotics. And the second 90 minutes, or maybe 85 minutes, they are going to be doing electronics, right? So if you think about robotics is nothing but a bunch of mechanical and electronic components that can be programmed, right? So it is good for the kids to know what is electronics, what is a capacitor, what is a resistor, and so on. It may be Greek and Latin right now, but once they start using it, they will know the names. And we are going to give each kid that signs up a kit that has all these electronic components that they can take home with them.
Oh.
So they can do a project like a traffic light, or they could be LED based circuit that they design. Whatever they design, at the end of the day, they have the material as well as the box full of electronic components that they take home with them and show their parents or maybe their sibling or their cousins.
Yeah.
Get everyone.
And therefore, that means whatever they learn at Camp Siobhan, they could take home with them
And
in terms
utilize
of the equipment.
Exactly.
And utilize it for further learning.
Precisely. And that's where I want to go. That's why I want to bring in Jayendra. When you do this, because I think you alluded to it earlier, you don't want this to just be a one-off. You want this to be something sustainable that you can repeat year on year, that will not only enrich in terms of business opportunity, but also education and opportunities for Jamaicans. So explain how you plan to maintain this. Jayendra?
I think that's a great question. We have over 25 different programs, and within each program, we have multiple levels. So our curriculum is developed based on our understanding of what a kid knows based on a certain age group. And, so we have a lot of content. Now, kids will take 6 months to, 8 months to learn through a particular program. And at the end of the program, we have an opportunity for kids to take part in competitions. Right? We want to have a lot of local competitions where it could be at a school level. We can roll that up into a regional level. And then the kids from there can have opportunity to, come to the US or to Canada to participate in an international event as well.
This is brilliant.
Right. So the idea is we have 25 different programs based on age group, and in between each of those programs, kids have the opportunity to go in and out of competitions.
Yeah. That'd be amazing.
That's how we plan to, hopefully keep their interest and keep their learning going as well.
That's amazing. News commentator J.A. says, I love this and hope non-traditional high schools will get the opportunity to join soon. You say $60,000, roughly about 400 US, and they get to take home the thing, they get to keep their tools, and that learning continues. Plus, they get opportunities to compete in
the school,
further
the
development.
Schools, all the resources that we bring down is going to be handed over to the schools. So the schools are going to keep that.
Oh, so it will stay here in the island.
Yes.
So we could have like robotics clubs.
Yeah, your school can set up their own. The school will be able to do their own thing, and we with our, consultation and with Zebra consultation, I should say, they can move forward. We're going to be training instructors. So each school we're going to try and train at least 2 or 3 instructors.
So the knowledge stays.
So what we're doing first is to train the instructors. And then we're going to make those instructors, the school is committed to take those instructors, to use those instructors for the class. So the instructors are going to get a certified STEM certificate on what they get. And then they're going to be able to deal with the student when the summer camp comes with Zebra.
Yeah. Amazing. So Dana, you might want to stop giving me such a hard time, because Before you know it, I might be a producer. It's 7:30. We're on the next break. We're hearing exciting things about Z Jamaica. They're celebrating 21 years of operations, and a robotics camp is coming up. And based on my script, Siobhan, it seems that we're going to be talking next to some of the schools. Yeah? Yeah. Who are involved. So thank you so much to Satish, Jayandra, Rashid, and of course Carlton Grant is still with us. We take the break and come back with more.
As a parent, you give your children a good start in life. You nurture, protect, and guide them. Parenting is a process that prepares your child for independence. As your child grows and develops, there are many things you can do to help your child. Stay tuned to The Big Show, nationwide this morning, for parenting tips. Fridays at 6:53 a.m. Only here will you learn everything you need to know about parenting. Tips to help parents navigate the incredibly challenging and rewarding journey of child rearing. Parenting tips on Nationwide at 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. We're on the final lap. We're celebrating Z Jamaica. They're celebrating 21 years of operations in Jamaica. And they have coming up, well, you've heard a lot from them since 6. We're on the segment where we're dealing with robotics. They have an exciting robotics camp coming up. Yeah. And we want to let you know that if you have questions, you can call us 630-937-124, 618-8255, and the team, the panel, will answer the questions. You can also post the questions on YouTube, and we'll be sure to get you an answer.
Well, we're going to be discussing now with some of the schools that will be involved in the robotics camp. We have with us the Renweb Administrator for Jamaica College, Dawn McGregor Bromfield, along with the Vice Principal for St. Hilda's Diocesan High, Vanessa Thompson Walters, and Principal for St. Hilda's Diocesan High, Heather Reed Johnson. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. And just to tell our listeners, we're still trying to make contact with Jamaica College. Apparently, we lost them. We dropped them, right? So we're trying to reconnect with Jamaica College.
So just to be sure, we have Heather Reed and Thompson Walters. You're both there?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
So starting with you, Madam Reed Johnson, your interest in robotics and this summer camp, can you explain to us?
Well, I have to say, the moment Mr. Grant mentioned that this was, in the making, we were all excited about it at St. Hilda's. We have a robotics club. We've entered a number of competitions. So our girls are more than interested in robotics. And our vice principal, Mrs. Walters, she's the one who is in charge. She's their coach and so on. So we could not pass up on this opportunity. So we said to Mr. Grant immediately, we are on board. Mm-hmm. So we're looking forward to an exciting month of July in which we will learn all kinds of new things. Yeah. After all, it's a bit of STEM or STEAM. So we have to be on board.
Indeed. Indeed.
Yes.
And Mrs. Thompson Walters, forgive me for this question, but immediately when you think robotics, you do not think girls. Yeah, I see the principal's reaction, but I did I did ask her for forgiveness, Mrs. Reed Johnson. But immediately you don't think girls, you think boys would want to be involved in robotics. When I heard you say, Principal, that you have a club and that you have been participating in programs, I'm impressed by that. Talk to us, Mrs. Thompson Walters, about the reaction of the girls to robotics.
Good evening again, everyone. I am so surprised that you would say
I
that.
begged forgiveness. I begged forgiveness.
Because at St. Hilda's, that's in high school,
Yeah.
our girls, we were introduced to an in-depth knowledge of robotics in 2020. Our girls, a number of our girls, have shown an interest in the field of robotics. And what we have done, having established a robotics club, we've sought many opportunities to share with the girls the possibilities that lie in terms of robotics and the area of STEM.
Yeah.
And so what we find is that through the clubs, we have meetings each week. And of course, our clubs participating in different competitions. It continues to build an interest for a number of other girls as the years passes. So we do have our young ladies quite interested in the field of robotics.
And you coach them. What's that experience like? What does coaching robotics involve?
All right. Well, it has been a tremendous experience for me, having led the team, and I have 2 other members of staff that works along with me. And the experience, as I said before, has been one that has been a wonderful one for many reasons. One, the girls have a desire to learn new things, and they are eager. And for me to provide that kind of guidance and oversight, as soon as we spot the opportunities or the principal spot the opportunities and she shares them with me, we go back to our club and we see how best we can explore them. And in terms of my role as a coach, we look out for the opportunities. We provide training for the girls. So we have gone to UTech, engage lecturers there to get training for the students, and just sought opportunities to build on their knowledge of robotics and to show them that there are many opportunities that lie in this field. And so having completed high school, moving on to tertiary, this is a field that you can explore. So it's a supportive role that I play as a coach, and my girls inspire me.
Yeah.
My young ladies, they are driven, they are dedicated. And so that is something that keeps me going with them as a coach.
And I love this idea of just telling our students that their potential is limitless and boundless. Mrs. Reed Johnson, you said something about, the importance of STEM education. And I wondered whether you find that the girls who are involved in robotics show more aptitude in math and science and are gravitating towards those disciplines.
Well, in fact, they do. And I will tell you, our girls at St. Hilda's are well-rounded.
Yeah, I've always heard that.
Yes, we have a broad-based curriculum. We do not restrict them and so on. I mean, they can do anything they want. Earlier you mentioned having girls doing robotics. Our girls, I'll tell you, they perform very well in the sciences, exceptionally well. And that is, at the CSEC level, at the CAPE level. So it doesn't matter that they're girls. Anything they can master and accomplish.
Excellent.
Okay, so for them, robotics, they gravitate towards the sciences, as I said, and they are very good in the math. Of course, there are some girls who are afraid of math,
right.
But we have excellent head of math department, and she comes up with all kinds of innovative ways for them to do well. We enter the Math Olympiad, we enter the Math Kangaroo competition. Even today, they were in Kingston at that competition. So our girls, we help them to overcome that fear of math. Because it's the time in which we're living. Science, technology, that's the time for it.
Yeah.
So Principal Reed Johnson, you've planted the seed regarding robotics. So certainly summer camp, it presents quite an opportunity for you to expand beyond just having a club. Is there an interest in, say, including robotics as part of the curriculum at St. Hilda's?
Well, I'm sure that is something that we have to look at. I wouldn't have any objections to that at all, and I know our girls would be excited about it. We have, earlier you asked too about what the girls gravitate towards.
Yeah.
We have the girls who are in robotics who are interested in logistics, animation and gaming, you name it. And they're doing quite well in those fields. So robotics, look out, it will be in the curriculum soon.
And I love now that Jamaican educational institutions are offering these broad options to students. When I was in high school, The options were a bit constrained. We're a bit limited.
Let's say streamlined.
Streamlined. Yes, let's use that word. Streamlined. We were generally principal directed in specific areas. It sounds now like the educational institutions are just broadening the horizons of these students, and I absolutely love that.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's as I said before. Our curriculum is broad-based. Our girls, they have a bit of the science, the arts, and of course, I'll have to put a plug in. Spanish is compulsory at St. Hilda's. The second language is a must.
Oh, all
Yes,
students have
one
to do
more language, one more chance.
one more language, one more. I love that. In terms now of the age of the girls, Mrs. Thompson Walters, are you finding that it's from grade 7 straight through to sixth form, or are you finding a concentration at a particular level?
Muted.
Mrs. Thompson Walters?
I'm hearing you now.
Right. So, did you hear the question? No, not hearing Mrs. Walters.
Well, until
Yes,
she
miss.
comes back, I just add.
Sure, miss.
Each year we have a science and technology fair, and the girls create all kinds of wonderful things. And I will tell you, last year, a first former created a robot. And this was a robot, she said, to replace or to assist in the teacher shortage.
Oh.
A first former. It was awesome. So from first form right up, the girls are interested.
And this technology fair it's inter school. It's in school. It's within St. Hilda's.
Within school. So the different departments, well, science, it's really the science.
Right.
And they put together all kinds of inventions and creations. So the little first former created her teacher, the robot, to teach in the absence of her teachers.
Amazing.
Because, the teacher shortage and all of that.
Look at that. You could get your producer robot, actually.
Amazing. So I may yet have my producer robot.
So we have an interesting question from YouTube. Patrick Rowe asks, will the students be chosen on aptitude and interest, or is it up to the teachers to make the selection? Principal Reed Johnson?
Well, I think it's the interest that the students display. We will choose based on those who are interested.
Yeah.
Those who really have that deep interest, that deep-seated interest, not just to choose, we'll allow them to decide.
Yeah.
I think.
And another YouTuber, Principal Rose Chin, is praising your initiative to have Spanish being compulsory. She says, I wish I had paid more attention to Spanish in high school. It would serve me well now.
Okay, thanks for that.
All right, so do we have Mrs. Thompson Walters back with us?
Yes, I'm back. My apologies.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so we talked about the how satisfying it is when you coach the girls and you expose them to this broad array of technology and innovation. In terms of your participation now in the camp, what will that look like?
All right. So as teachers, educators, there's opportunity for training. And I'm quite excited about that. So you asked earlier in the interview with Mr. Grant about, continuity and maintaining the program even after.
Yes.
And so I am excited to know that I will receive some training as a part of this camp. And also, I'm going to be there every step of the way with the young ladies to ensure that they're there for all of the sessions, to ensure that they do well in their assessments, and to ensure at the end of the day, they build those robots that will be solving problems, and they will have a great time learning additional information about robotics.
What inspired you? What inspired your love of this field, such that you want to coach in robotics?
I am a trained information technology teacher. So from high school, I've had a love for the technology. And so when the principal was the one that brought the concept of robotics, and we were introduced to it through the First Tech Challenge in 2020. And the minute she shared it with me, I was ready to go. And, having been involved in it and seeing where robotics is going universally, it is something that has really caught my interest, and I just want to learn more. And earlier, I believe it was Mr. Grant or one of the other presenters mentioned that the students are seeing the use of the artificial intelligence, when they go to the airports, when they go into different business places.
Yes.
And so for me, it is a means of learning as an educator. We are lifelong learners. And so I want to just build on my knowledge because it's not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
more and more, we're going to see the use of robotics, even here in Jamaica, on a wider scale.
So, Madam Thompson Walters, not only will you get to retain that training that they'll be providing you, though we are led to understand you'll also get to retain the equipment that will be brought to your institution. What do you make of that?
Oh, that is wonderful. It is wonderful because as a school, we are always looking for opportunities to build our robotics club. And so additional equipment, we welcome that any day. And the fact that we're going to get the opportunity to keep it, it is going to be additional resources for our team, for our club. And so we're very thankful for that.
Mm-hmm. And Mrs. Reed Johnson, in terms of partnerships with other schools, because we want to ensure that, but certainly I would want to see all schools in Jamaica being a part of this program. Is St. Hilda's in a position to extend itself to assist perhaps some of your non-traditional counterparts who may, want to be a part of it, but who may not have it at their institution?
Most definitely, because I believe it's important to share. We can't be very selfish, or we can't be selfish. Let me remove very.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be selfish at all. So it's important to share with others. And I will tell you, even for the Robotics Club, through Mrs. Walters and her girls, they have reached out to other schools to help to start a robotics club in their schools. So we are in the business of sharing knowledge and sharing whatever we have.
Love that. Love that.
And Madam Reed Johnson, I want to go back now to your ongoing engagement with Z Jamaica. Certainly didn't just spring from nowhere. What caused that engagement with Z Jamaica, and how has it been over the years?
Okay, well, our relationship, and I'm calling it that, with Z Jamaica started, how long now? Many years ago,
Wow.
Is it, Mrs. Walters, if you can remind me? I don't know.
I believe it was
2014.
2015.
2015, wow.
Right.
So you use this, the school management system that we were discussing earlier?
Yes, we do.
Oh.
Yes, we do. And it's awesome. It just makes life so much easier for us, for our teachers, for the parents, for the girls. And we have real-time information through the school management system. Real-time information for the parents. We no longer have to be printing reports to send out to parents. They can go on the portal, access those reports, see what is happening, see how their daughters are progressing, and so on. Of course, if a parent needs a report, we will print and stamp, for official purposes.
Right.
But they can always go on the system and see what is happening. And the system has so many features that we are using. And again, Mrs. Walters is one of those who is close to, using that system, as well as our systems administrator. But the relationship with Z has been excellent.
Yes.
And I can tell you, if we have a challenge, as we did a few weeks ago, just tweaking something on the transcript,
Yes.
Mr. was there, and he's always there. Mrs. Walters will call, and he's always there to just help us through whatever it is, and to make the necessary adjustments, to whatever document it is that we need to have.
And we did hear that you are responsive. Indeed, that's part of why you're being awarded with that WAVE award. So also, I wanted to know, Mrs. Reed Johnson, and I want you to speak to your colleagues, because we know that there are some school administrators who may be slow on the uptake of something like this. They may be saying, boy, I have my file cabinet, I have my files properly stored and sorted. Mrs. laughing. Properly stored and sorted. I don't need this kind of technology. Talk to us, or talk to them about the benefits as you see them, having used it now for so many years.
Right. Well, I'm of the view that many of my colleagues have some school management system or other. because I think we all recognize that the paper isn't good enough.
Yes.
If a transcript is needed, we have to go to the filing room, especially in our case, for students who attended St. Hilda's before 2015, and they are not on the school management system. We have to get to that filing room, pull that file, and go through and manually create that script. While now with Z, it's quite easy because we go on and at a click of a button, Vanessa, the transcript is generated. So much easier. So much easier. So I believe the benefits are there, and it saves on a lot of the paper and so on. So we can save some money there and maybe channel the funds into some other area in the school. But I think it's the way to go. Technology is the way to go. I know some of us may be afraid of it, but it's just the time in which we're living, and we need to move with the times.
Yeah,
Makes life easier.
I couldn't have said it any better. Just the time we're living in.
And Principal Reed Johnson, it takes a certain mindset and a certain enabling environment to be, let's use the word pioneering.
We're calling you a visionary.
Let's use the term visionary, pioneering. Have you found that you've had any difficulty, say, bringing your initiatives to the board of the school, the regional headquarters, and the Ministry of Education in terms of bringing things like robotics, a new school information system? How do you navigate those hurdles to ensure that your girls at St. Hilda's get what they need?
Well, I have to be honest with you. I do not have those hurdles. I do not have those hurdles. My board is very supportive. My chairman, Bishop Leon Golding, and the rest of the team, they are very supportive. And they understand that we need to move with the times and we have to be more efficient in what we do. And if the technology is going to allow for more efficiency, then that's the way to go.
Yeah.
For the region, I don't want to cause any trouble, but there was the region, but maybe it's the education system that perhaps we need to look at. There's something we need to look at. St. Hilda's had a system in which our staff members would sign in using the fingerprint and so on. And we were told to get rid of that. We had to go back to signing of the books and all. I wasn't happy about that. But
those were data. Was that data privacy concerns?
No, it is that according to something written somewhere, we should be writing recording our presence at school in a book somewhere.
Outdated regulations.
Goody.
Yeah.
But I guess that's just, it's a system. So we reverted. I really, really wasn't happy about that.
Yeah.
I just like the bit of just sticking my finger in that little slot and moving
So Mr. Grant,
understood.
Generally speaking, the stakeholders have been very supportive.
Yeah.
So Mr. Grant, it seems that you still have some work cut out for you in terms of getting the onboarding.
Let me tell you, 2016, we decided to give 16 primary school RenWeb free of charge as an experimental. And so we went in and we convert their data, set up their system. And while we were doing that, we're teaching them how to use electronic gradebook and electronic attendance. And while we were doing that, the ministry was pulling up with a truck with books for attendance that you have to sign for attendance. So we that just defeated the purpose, and the whole thing exploded. Never come to fruition. And so I can understand that there's challenge, and that persists for years. That when we talk to a school, we can't do electronic because the ministry said we have to sign a book and we have to do this and we have to do that. So it's still a challenge.
Yeah.
And that mentality comes with a lot of the I would say maybe the older folks. And when I say the old, I mean no disrespect because I'm old.
Mm.
Right? I'm just
More the mindset than the
yeah,
actual physical
it's more
age.
the mindset than anything else. So it's something that we it's hurdles and then cost comes into effect because once you tell them it's $1, I think there's a disconnect between cost benefit and how they perceive it. So if you digitize your record and you digitize the school, everybody's going to be benefit from it because the efficiency will increase. Once you increase the efficiency, the production is increased.
We're up on time. I almost hate to cut you, but we're up on time. Yeah. But what I want you to quickly do is to give listeners who may be interested in the product, how do they contact Z Jamaica?
They can contact me at 880-3301, or they can go on zjamaica.com and /robotics, and they can register. Everything is online. Registration online, payments is online, the whole shebang is online.
All right. Z Jamaica celebrating 21 years of operations in Jamaica. And you heard it, listeners, a high-powered interactive creative agency. You've heard the testimonials. You've heard from people who have worked with them. They are the real deal, yeah? And I'm excited to see what you're able to achieve, especially coming out of the robotics program, yeah?
We'll keep you in tune.
All right. That's been Nationwide at 5. Thank you so much to our producer. I might get a producer 2.0. Dana Davey. Bugs, the man behind the control, the news and production team, the team at Z Jamaica for joining us. Thank you all so much. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Good evening.